Jam. Toon Jam.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Toon Jam. I am Matt.
And I'm J-Matt.
And today we are talking about David the Gnome.
Hooray!
Not really, but the day will come when we turn to David the Gnome Jam. I hope you're ready. But that day is not today. Today we are talking about Longhorn Gulch.
Hooray!
Now, you may or may not have heard of Longhorn Gulch. It's a very, very new show. And let me tell you a bit about it. So Longhorn Gulch is an American 2D animated adventure fantasy western comedy web series. Woo. It's a real tongue twister, this one. Created, directed, written and produced by Tara Billinger, or Billinger should I say, of the Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse Shorts, and Zach Bellissimo of that was genuinely I couldn't help doing that. It wasn't like I was doing it to be silly. I did that auto. I'm very sorry. Of Victor and Valentino and Rick and Morty. Based on a successful Kickstarter campaign of 2016. The pilot episode premiered on January 11th, 2021. Unlike other series in 2021, it debuted on YouTube. What a silly thing to write. I wish I'd not read that. Unlike other series in 2021, it debuted on YouTube. The beginning of the pilot has a content warning saying that the animation contains scenes with cartoon violence, images with flashes, and quote unquote scary content. Not available for those over the age of 7.
Over the age?
It does say over the age, but obviously it doesn't mean that. Oh my life. As you know, I mean, the rigorous research section of this podcast is largely done on Wikipedia. I'm essentially reading that off now. And let me tell you, this page could do with some editing. To carry on, in 2015, the project was officially posted online, but the creators had been tinkering with the idea since 2010 or earlier. The following year, a Kickstarter had begun for the series and continued to get crowdfunding for 5 years after that point. The same year, a 1-minute trailer was released. For that trailer, the art, character design, storyboarding, and animation was divided between the team. Where am I? Yeah, I mean, essentially, so they took inspirations from, apparently, it would appeal to people who like, The Mighty Boosh, Mad Max, Alice in Wonderland, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So if those 4 things are up your street, you're in for a wild ride.
Yeah.
I think, you know, maybe if just one of them is up your street. I don't know if it has to be all of them or one of them. Maybe a collection of a couple. But in June 2018, the official Tumblr for the show stated that the programs like Flash CC and Animate were used for the animation and are independently producing this, not going through a studio, that they are. At the time, it was said that the pilot would be released in early 2019, but in December 2019, the release date was pushed back to 2020 and then obviously 2021. So this has got to be the first, I think, Kickstarter project we've covered.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah? I can't think of another one anyway.
No.
So this is something fairly new for us. Fresh. Yeah. There's only a pilot out at the moment at the time of discussing this.
Yeah.
We've watched it, and you can watch it yourself over on YouTube. It's right there for the picking. So check it out if you're interested. But yeah, had you already watched this? Is this something you'd heard of?
Yeah, I'd actually taken a peek at it like not long after it came out. because I think it just popped up on Twitter or whatever. I think I may follow Tara on Twitter, so I think that's why it was in my feed. And then
Yeah, well, I
obviously a lot of
noticed
people.
at the end of the episode, their like official website was just a Twitter link, wasn't it?
Oh right, yeah. So that could be. I think that makes sense as to why it was sort of on my radar.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean, I'd seen a lot of. I mean, they were posting a lot of stuff beforehand of it coming up. So it's just one of those things where when it actually releases, you're like, oh yeah, it's finally out. Cool. Let's check this out, sort of thing.
yeah.
So I had actually witnessed it previously, but obviously not that long ago. It's not a.
Yes, because I mean,
It's impossible for me to have a childhood memory of it.
no action figures,
No, unfortunately.
hidden VHSs.
That's it.
Pretty fresh. Okay, so what's Twitter saying about it?
Yeah, I mean, because it's new again, nobody else can be like, well, here's my decade-long assessment of the Longhorn Gulch. It's just, just general people's reactions. And on the whole, it's pretty positive. Let's start with the bad news. The worst tweet I could find was Sunflower Manboy says, watch Longhorn Gulch. It was okay. That was it.
Oh, and that's the worst.
Yeah, that's about as bad as it gets for Longhorn Gulch.
And we don't know this person. That could be for them very positive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Sunflower Manboy could be a fairly pessimistic person. I mean, that could have been the shining light,
Yeah.
in his garden.
Equally, it could be a very optimistic person, and that could be a bad review.
Yeah.
Let's just take it
that.
as okay.
And I mean, as far as okay goes, that's shaky middle, isn't it? It could be good, it could be bad. It's worth your time still, I think.
Yeah,
okay.
still, anything above thumbs down.
Yeah.
It's worth checking your own.
We've got Black Zork who says, "Go watch Longhorn Gulch." It's very, very quick, very precise, and
Straight
it's like
to the
he
point.
wants other people to watch it. It's not
Positive.
Not,
It's positive.
this. Yeah, it's positive. And I think there's a lot of people at the minute on there. It seems like they're just like, everyone needs to watch this because obviously there's quite a community on there and everyone wants to discuss stuff. So the more people that watch it, the more they can be like, I liked this bit. What did you think? Like us.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Just a few kindred spirits.
Yeah. We've got Blonde Wonder 96 who says hi, which is quite a nice way to start a tweet, I think. Hi, Blonde Wonder 96. If you need a serotonin boost, please go watch this amazing indie cartoon #Longhorn Gulch. You will not regret it. So again, just spreading the word. A lot of people just trying to get it out there, which is good. Everyone seems to be pretty happy with it. And finally, I don't know how to pronounce this exactly. It's like Aislinin. I'm going to say it's AI Slinin. That's wrong, but I prefer my version. They say, "Give me all your money. I want Longhorn Gulch merch." So.
Oh, nice. I mean, do they have merch?
I think there might be a little bit of merch. Yeah.
Nice.
So I mean, they've clearly turned to a life of crime. In that they're now trying to rob people in order to get Longhorn Gulch merch, which is, I mean, that's a fandom, a level of fandom that you that's aspirational, really.
Yeah, I mean, no one should ever. I mean, but the thing is, it's not necessarily crime because they're actually still asking.
Yeah. I mean, is that the stipulation, like a bank robbery? If they say, "Give me the money," because they asked, it's not actually a crime. I
suppose, it's not a question, is it? It's got to be a question. Can you give me the money?
If they said, if a bank, please have all your money.
Yeah, and if they say no and then leave, all right, that's okay.
Yeah.
If you then whip the gun out and force them to give you the money, that's when it becomes a crime, I think.
Yeah, but what if they're still asking politely at that point?
With a gun out?
Yeah.
I think the gun alone is probably... Well, I mean, that's a crime.
Well, I mean, what if they wrote, like, please on the barrel? Pretty please. and there's like a
think
picture
you'd
of a
just
cherry.
the crime would be like the using the gun. It wouldn't be
Right.
robbing. It's like you're pulling a gun out in a public place
Yeah.
and politely asking things.
But maybe it's not, or maybe it's a concealed weapon, or it's just like, their finger in their pocket.
I think that's the sort of difference between a robber and a highwayman.
Yeah, yeah.
The gentleman highwayman.
That's it. You're almost like, oh, all right. He seems nice.
He's a gentleman.
Yeah, he seems all right.
Say?
I just wanted to help him out more than anything. Seemed like he was down on his luck.
To this day, Dick Turpin has a questionable, likability.
Yeah.
Because apparently he was a gentleman. I don't know how true it was. No one does.
We just don't know.
So okay, that's that sorted.
That's them. So yeah, generally positive on Twitter.
Yeah, cool.
People are happy. People want other people to watch it. So good times.
Okay, so that's everyone else's opinions. Let's discuss our own. So the first things that come to your head talking about Longhorn Gulch. What's the most notable thing about it?
I think the the art style is quite nice, quite pleasant to look at. Like the character design and stuff is quite cool. They've got some good looking folks in there. Like the bad guy is quite cool, the shark, and like the main characters are pretty plucky and fun. Everyone's kind of got something that's like, oh yeah. Like, we only watched the one episode, but you can kind of get a good gist of who's who from just looking at them and their posture and everything, all that kind of good stuff. And
there's
also
there's a definite Powerpuff Girls vibe.
Yeah.
It's like a Western, Wild West Powerpuff Girls sort of. I mean, the actual show itself doesn't necessarily, but the characters have a sort of, especially they look more like the villains, don't they?
Yeah.
The Powerpuff Girls villains in this are, and the art style is quite similar, I think. Yeah,
there's definitely some parallels there. I think all of it's quite nice to look at, really, because like the background and stuff, and like a lot of the sort of setting it does look very dusty. It is a Western, isn't it? But like a lot of the stuff does look like it's kind of it's dusty, or it's kind of a bit mucky or whatever. Like it all kind of fits the environment, so you feel pretty much like you're plunged into the their universe pretty quickly. You get a good feel for it straight away.
Yeah.
And
I think, there's definitely there's something original about it. And I think like in a way that it would fit in with the current tunes of today.
Yeah.
So to speak. It would fit in with that style. It definitely has, I think, a major 90s feel to it.
Yeah.
But in a good way, like that isn't necessarily outdated, or it's still modern enough for you to not be like if this was like new episodes of a show that was in the 90s, if someone told you that you didn't watch any cartoons, you might be like, okay. But if you didn't watch any cartoons, then you might be like that with absolutely anything. Essentially, it's just enough for me to feel a bit of nostalgia while also feeling like something absolutely fresh that would fit in right now. And I could see it getting picked up quite easily just because it does have a certain, like I say, it's original. And there's nothing out like even though it has a familiarity to it, there's nothing around now I can think of that's like this. Which I think is probably the Western sort of touch helps that.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything Westerny for a while, like animation-wise.
Yeah.
Are Westerns coming back now? Is that like a thing?
As far as I know, no. But
okay.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole new generation that's played Red Dead Redemption, so.
That's it, and they love it.
Yeah, they're just waiting on something like this to come out.
Yeah, I mean, like, was I'm sure like the Mandalorian was pegged as like a space western as well,
suppose,
right?
yeah. Maybe I'm just being, you know, foolish here. Maybe it is. Maybe you're right. There's a certain. It's like the alternative western.
Yeah, could be. I mean, you know, to be fair, we just cherry picked like 3 things, so that doesn't necessarily mean there's a movement. It just could be. It just could be those 3 things are westerns. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know.
Well,
But yeah, if you think there's a western movement, please get in touch because we want to know if it's true or not.
That's another one. Westworld.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I think there's the trouble is right now. I suppose cinematically,
Yeah.
it's hard to tell what the movements are because there hasn't been really many films. There's been like a couple of films.
Yeah.
Especially at the cinemas, and that's really because the cinemas, because of the way they make films, and it's like, oh, it costs so much to make them, and they have to make loads of money. They have to pick the safest bet. So like that's why like superheroes, there's like 10 million films in the space of 10 years because they know that people are going to see them. So right now, if we could see maybe some Western films coming.
Yeah.
Or like alternate Western films, but we have to go by TV, and I guess TV is far more diverse because they don't just have the same things all the time. It's the only place there's originality, really, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's quite interesting to think that, like, you know, with a cartoon as well, where you've got everything at your fingertips as far as like what you can do. Like they chose to go with the Western because it is something that's like, you know, it's not really something you think would be particularly popular right now. Like,
yeah,
there was a prime time for Westerns, and apparently it's not now. So as far as we know,
saying the way of the Western.
Yeah,
there's a reason that exists.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's cool, and as well, like, what's good because it's a cartoon. And we've always said this, but you can do obviously, you know, whatever you like with it, and they've created a really cool sort of, like, I guess it's like an animalistic, alien, weird sort of touch to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a sci-fi. It doesn't feel like a fantasy or anything. It's got it feels like a cartoon, I guess.
Yeah.
Where everything's just like, you know, you've got the villains are like a mixture of sharks and bugs and whatever. In the episode, at least that we've watched, you know, you've got a jackalope as a mayor. You've got they're mates with a Sasquatch and a cactus.
Yeah.
And they're people. So it's just like, you know, there's all sorts of nonsense going on. And that definitely adds to the appeal.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because it's not your conventional Western, is it?
No.
Which is quite good. And
you've got to wonder, I suppose, like, there's definitely, you can see that, you know, they've come from, obviously, so we've got what, like, you know, Mickey Mouse background, and then Rick and Morty, Victor and Valentino. I don't know much about Victor and Valentino, to be honest.
No, neither do
I. Maybe that's one to visit.
Oh, maybe.
But I've seen Rick and Morty. That's obviously a lot of sci-fi stuff, and Mickey Mouse is the most, you know, the ultimate originality cartoon. Like, that's what a cartoon is, isn't it? Mickey Mouse world.
Yeah.
The one's animals. That's where it all started. So I wonder if it is kind of a mixture of new and old, isn't it?
Yeah, in a really good way. Yeah.
Yeah. And it hits those points, and I love that. I'm glad it doesn't feel just like space western or you know, fantasy western or whatever. It just feels like cartoon western. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, I hope you get me when I say that.
Yeah,
I do feel like, you know, there was a time when cartoon was a genre.
Yeah.
And to be honest, for me, that is my favourite type of cartoon almost. Because that was when they used to actually do stuff. I mean, if you follow our Patreon, and when we did our sort of journey through time, you can see in the old episodes, like they really, like, animation was such a new thing to them. They did as much as they could with every single bit.
Yeah.
Whereas we've talked about, like, you know, especially newer adult comedies, they tend to just use it to make slapstick jokes more extreme.
Yeah, or literally just to do, like, I guess, a different kind of budget than hiring actors in a studio and everything. Like, it's, you know, we've seen stuff that is literally just like sitcoms and stuff.
Yeah,
just animated instead of,
you know, it's fine and as its place, but this has that though. This has that sort of, like, you feel like it's using the animation. It's like all the characters, like just the characters alone, are using the animation, and it does have a touch of like adult comedy because obviously it's got that with the sort of Rick and Morty vibe, and then, you know, people that make cartoons at the end of the day are adults.
Yes,
they're going to be able to do that as well. It's not like one set, is it? But it also, I can see that as a kid I would have enjoyed this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
So,
it's really fast paced, and like the humor's quite, like, you know, broad but like on point as well. I did like chuckle a few times and stuff. Just like they seem to have some good comic timing in there as well. Just some moments where they take a pause out from the action and like people just make weird comments or just like react in odd ways. It's pretty funny, like what they managed to do with it.
Yeah, definitely. As far like it's got, like, for saying it's Kickstarter, I mean, they must have made a fair whack with it because the cast is pretty good.
Yeah,
like they're really, like, you know, voice acting. Maybe that's part of the sort of 90s feel because it's got like people from like isn't like the main character, isn't she Buttercup from Powerpuff Girls?
Is that right? Yeah,
I think so. So that's probably got the sort of like the feel of that. So E.G. Daily, Danny Cooksey, Amber Midthunder, which is a fantastic surname, and Eric Bowser. So if you know, you probably know one of them if you know cartoons.
Yeah.
Even slightly. You probably heard of one of them, or you'll have heard them where you might not realise it.
That's it. A lot of them, that's the case.
Yeah.
Because they're mysterious with their voice.
Well, that's it. And then that like there was no one. I felt like it was really. It felt like it was a really good pilot.
Yeah, definitely.
To be honest, like I would watch more, and I hope it gets picked up. I can see it getting picked up.
Yeah.
It's just because I suppose it's a new way of doing it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that like they had the option to kind of do this off their own backs almost, like from the start, like get people interested, get them on board, and then like make it happen, as opposed to like, I mean, I don't even know the conventional way of actually like getting an animation to a studio and all that. Like,
I mean, and especially, you know, because they're already in the system.
Yeah,
and worked on other big shows. I'm sure they could have come up with this and pitched it to a channel like Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon or Netflix or however they go about doing it.
Yeah,
I'm sure they could have done that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that they chose not to.
Yeah, I wonder what it is. That's a question in itself.
But that might be to do with, like, I wonder if it's to do with sort of having these sort of original ideas that don't fit in with, because it is like, it doesn't, as much as I feel it does fit in with sort of the current stream, there's not, like, it's not an idea, like we say, like the Western, whether it's in or not, we the jury's still out. But it could be a case that they're like pitching it, they'd be like, nah, no one wants to see that. So they instead they just thought, right, we're going to make it and then pitch it.
Yeah, and I mean it's a powerful tool nowadays, like being able to like have something out there, like if you've got some content available, and that because you know you've got all those fans immediately that are pretty vocal about it. I mean, just look at Twitter, everyone's trying to do all the legwork for it, telling everybody to go watch it. So like you wouldn't have that if you just pitched it to, you know, a company, or you just had storyboards or whatever. Like you know, it's nice to have that backing, and I mean that's what the companies are looking for as well, isn't it? An audience. So if
I mean, they've already
no
got
better way
it's
to prove that you've got
it.
one. Yeah, then.
And I mean, it's a strange thing because I don't know. Is it something that can set a new precedent and then loads of people start doing it? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know, with Kickstarter, tends to be, you know, people can't afford to back every single project.
Yeah.
They come across. So I don't know. It will change the face of thingy, but it definitely will get people to sort of figure out new ways of pitching, I suppose.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a few more that do the same thing now that this has been, you know, well, successful, I guess. Successful, like, and just on its own legs at the minute, like, so. Well,
it might encourage as well different, you know, at least funding from different outlets to begin with.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you were, say, because it doesn't just offer the opportunity to, you know, the show creators, it's everyone that gets involved and it's the whole team. And if they'd be happy to pitch in some, then you're more likely to be able to make your own when they know that companies will pick up shows like that.
That's it.
But it's good because it encourages originality as well, which we are, you know, I suppose it's luckier in the animation sort of area. You don't get as many reboots and things, but you still do get them, don't you?
Yeah, they still happen. Yeah, so, I mean, like, how many iterations have there been of the superhero genre in animation?
I mean, that'll never end, I suppose.
Yeah, but I mean,
there
even
are characters
stuff like...
that have gone for, you know, almost 100 years.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it like? In the next decade, Superman will turn 100.
Yeah.
Or is it? Yeah, 37, I think, 38, something like that. So
not long till he's a
and that reason, because after 100 years, it goes into the free market, doesn't it? A character.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. So Superman and Batman. I'm
That's
sure,
really
and I think like Mickey Mouse as well is soon.
Oh, right.
So there'll obviously be new. I'm sure there'll be new rules where they can keep them.
Yeah, I think that's like if they're not renewed or something, isn't it? Like,
I'm not entirely sure because I remember hearing something about Superman and how they were gonna basically Warner Brothers were gonna have to like put up a massive case to keep him.
That's so weird. He's too old. We can't keep him anymore.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure. We'll see.
That's interesting.
Okay, well, let's we've covered it for a bit. Let's go over to the reviews section. Hi, I'm Alistair Smythe, and I'm here to tell you about the new Way Out West Smythe range. Yeehaw, ride 'em, cowboy. That's right. Smythe has a brand new range to fit in with the current trend of cowboy, the Wild West range, and we're first introducing our new Smythe Cowboy Hat.
Smythe, I have loved my Smythe hat, but I already have a hat. What can I do? Can I wear my hat over my current hat?
Absolutely, you can. But don't worry, the best thing to do in this situation, throw that old hat in the bin. Smythe hats are the only hats you're going to want to wear, and trust me when I say, if it fits Smythe, it fits you.
But Smythe, what if it is wet outside, like when it rains? Can I still wear my hat?
Not only can you wear your hat, you should wear your hat. The cowboy hat from the Smythe range is absolutely shower resistant. That means a light shower will not ruin your beautiful mullet. And not only that, is if you buy the hat, you will also get with it a new patented Smythe lasso. A lasso that will last longer than your ordinary lasso.
But Smythe, what if my lasso is already as long as I need it? Can I make the lasso shorter?
You can make the lasso as large or as small as you like within the range of the rope itself. Smythe's rope is made from real rope, so there's no chance of it being not rope. That's right, the Smythe Smythe Cowboy range is absolutely infallible in its cowboyness. And if you order today, you can also get yourself a Smythe horse. That's right, a horse from Smythe Industries. It gallops, it runs, it's Smythe.
But Smythe, I'm allergic to horses, so how am I gonna ride my Smythe horse?
Good question. You're gonna have to block up your nose, because with this Smythe horse, it's really gonna set your nasal going. Smythe, way out west. Yeehaw, ride 'em cowboy. Get on it now. So here at Toon Jam, we have a 3-point rating system that goes as follows. Thumbs up, original content, good stuff. We're happy with the thumbs up. Thumbs down, producers not taking on board that original content. Look at the lengths we're having to go to. Well, not we, but you know,
the
artists. And shaky middle, the way of the Western.
Mm. Is it coming back?
Is it coming back? Is the way of the Western good or bad now?
I don't know.
We're not sure. So good, bad, kind of in the middle on that one.
Mm.
Pretty straightforward. So Jay, as always, let's begin with you. Longhorn Gulch. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it was from the get-go with the sort of, you know, live tumbleweeds that that are kind of rolling about. I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. This is something I haven't seen in a Western. And you know, as it continues, you've got cool characters, cool designs. You know, the music's very fitting. The backgrounds look really cool. There's lots of action, some good comedy. Like there's some really funny bits of just like excessive close-ups that, you know, we've already explained in previous episodes that we do enjoy from the times of like Ren and Stimpy and stuff. And so I think like overall there really wasn't anything I didn't like about it. I was pretty much in from the get-go. I was like, oh, this is quite cool, and that there wasn't anything that distracted me. Pacing was all good. It was just all around quite a treat to experience. So for me, it's nothing less than a thumbs up from me.
Oh, nothing less. That's like an extra thumbs up on top.
That's it.
Just add in that, like...
It can't shake. It's unshakable thumbs up.
Okay, yeah. I mean, what to say? What's not to like? Yes, it's. I'll tell you what's not to like. No, I really don't. I really don't really have any. I don't really have much to say. That's sort of out of. I love the sort of mixture of styles that we talked about, like old meets new, and I don't just mean that like on the face of it, like Western. I mean the style of animation, anything that can sort of recapture that original take on animation in any way, always gets sort of a thumbs up in my book, really. And I like that it is. I can't stress that the originality of it, in its sort of premise as well, like the feel of the world that they're in. It has got, and I think that's why it has a sort of semi Powerpuff Girls type world, because that was, even though that is in this way was sort of like a pastiche on old superhero stuff. It still felt like its own world, and the characters were all, you know, bizarre, and you might have seen elements of them in other places, but you'd not seen them. And it's the same with this. Like just the fact that the villain in it is a shark that's a cowboy. I mean, I just like that. And then they've got a mate that's a cactus. It's just cool. It's fun, and you know the characters were pretty likable. You know, you've got a vague backstory, you can understand their motives. It's just all around just good stuff, you know, and it was funny. Always a bonus. And more than anything, the greatest review of all is I'd watch another. You know, I'd keep going. I'd watch this. It's funny. It's got an originality that nothing else, I think, at the moment is sort of portraying this in the same way, whilst also fitting in with the modern day trends of not just of Western, obviously, which is such a big thing right now.
Yeah.
so huge. But the modern trends of animation, and I just think it was great. I was very impressed. I wasn't expecting it, if I'm honest. I didn't know what to expect, but when I saw there was only one episode, it was just a pilot sort of thing. I was like, oh right, so it's just going to be something short and probably not what we'd get in the long run. But this feels like it is. So 2 thumbs up.
There you go.
What a show! Great.
Get better than
I
that.
highly recommend it. Head over to YouTube. Longhorn Gulch, 3 words. Try not to trip over them.
Yeah.
It's quite fun to say, actually.
It is, yeah.
It's clever stuff. All right, well, thank you for joining us today. It's been a treat. I've enjoyed doing something fresh.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed it too. If you agreed or disagreed, feel free to get in touch with us on the 3 motley outlaws of the internet: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Toon Jam Pod. You can also check out some extra bonus episodes over on our Patreon, which is patreon.com/ToonJamPod. And we also have a merchandise store as well, which is bit.ly/ToonJamShop. And you can find them also on our socials. It's what the kids say on the socials.
They call them. That's what the Westerners call them.
That's what the West, the way of the West.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you for joining us. I hope that you did enjoy it. If you did, please feel free to rate and review us. It really helps other people find us. But until next time, have a wonderful week and you stay jammy.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/ToonJamPod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you and stay jammy.